And
All
here
right,
we
we're
are,
live.
live. Thank you for your patience, the listeners that are on board right now. We're still doing minor tweaks, but we are just about ready to kick it on.
We are watchers too, not just listeners.
That's
Now
true.
that
They're
we have
watching
Google
us.
thing. Yep.
This week, they're actually watching us. Well, of course, when we did the chat with the toy review, a couple people got to see people. Others, like me, were having technical difficulty moments. So
Well, the feed's not that great either. My internet connection is crap.
that's the best way to put it. And we actually have better internet connection, not great, but better when we don't add the video. But we thought, what the hey, let's try it again.
Yeah, why
And
not?
maybe it's the company I have back here that's helping the waves out here.
Yeah, who hooked you up with those?
I'm thinking
Well,
the guy I'm looking at on the screen right now. Yeah, he's hooking me up. The only one I have of Mask, if anybody's paid attention, is Condor, and that's the only one I actually owned as a kid. So Jason's been slowly adding to my collection whenever he finds. I get the junkyard scraps, but I still don't care. That's good for me.
oh, those weren't junk. Those weren't junk. Those were functional. I'm not going to give you crap.
Well, I know that. But you pieced them together, didn't you?
Oh, well.
See?
Did I give you any of the weapons? I don't know if any of the bombs and stuff came with it.
I got one on Thunderhawk,
Okay, well, one's better than none.
and I got a seatbelt, so that's a plus. Not that anybody liked it, but,
Don't think I gave you the
No, I don't
launch
have the one
missile.
for Switchblade.
But your wings work on yours. Mine don't even work on mine anymore, thanks to the
Well,
boys.
actually, I had to mend this. I don't know if it was because of the packaging or what, but I had to mend the little, yeah, as Miles gets ejected, uh, the little tab that actually holds the arm in place.
Gotcha.
I had to mend him. Nothing more than nothing more than putting it back together. Okay, Miles is really going to be the bad guy. He's falling out. Helmet or helmet mask.
I had a little idea for an article today, and I guess since we're just
Chit chatting.
chit chatting to start, I for the longest time on eBay I wanted this Mask preview comic, and you've seen the cover. It's white, and along the sides are the faces of the agents. And in the middle, it's got
Oh yeah,
vehicles.
I've seen that.
I posted it up on Facebook a while back, and I thought it was its own issue that came out, like before the actual series. Well, come to find out today, I think somebody's trying to sell them on eBay after they basically ripped them out of the comic that they came in, and they're more valuable if you leave them in, obviously,
Obviously,
like
yeah.
they're like an insert. So I did a little research today, and I was just kind of going through the comics, and I see a few that I came across from '85 in September from DC Comics had that insert inside. At least that's what they were saying on eBay, and I was like, oh wait. So I'm going to try to go out and get the couple, maybe one or two or three issues from the other comic book series that has the insert inside, and maybe we'll give a couple away if I can get my hands on some.
That'd be
But
great.
there's a list, a partial list I found on Wikipedia of all places, but there was one of the comics on eBay that I knew had it in there because they had advertised it. It wasn't on the Wikipedia list, so I'm going to try to put a list together and post on the blog of every single comic that had it in there,
That'd be
and
cool.
maybe even track down, because there was a ton that was released in September of that year. I'm not sure if they all have it in there, but I'm
That'd
gonna
be cool.
I'm gonna track it down for our mask collectors,
Track it like
so
Matt
they can.
Tracker. I like it.
Right. So
Well,
this
let me do
little.
one more thing to prep so that
Okay.
my lights don't go out in Texas, whatever the song is.
Well, I got my notes. I got our little blog post up with the poll, and many comments did we get? We got 2 comments. A lengthy one again from our buddy Scott and Anna. So we'll read those on the air. And if you're watching this now and I guess haven't watched or listened before, just go on our blog and find the episode that we're reviewing. Leave your review there and do your.
And of course,
and Wyatt's back.
I decided to try to do a nosedive.
I was talking to myself, actually, the video camera here. So while you were gone.
Whatever entertains you, you know. If I remember right, it is the simple things, especially like that. You remember that slush back in I don't know what year that was, but back in high school, I imagine that was the time you were out piling up mud slush, snow slush, and you just hopped on it and goes, "It's the simple things that entertain me."
I don't remember that.
I remember crap that I shouldn't remember, but I can't remember what happened yesterday. Was there yesterday?
I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
Okay, then that must be the Clearfield water, because.
It could be. Who knows? There's just too much stuck in our brains that probably shouldn't be there. But.
Well, I can attest to that.
Well, you ready to start the actual podcast here?
I am, listeners. If you are ready, we're gonna bring it on.
All right. I'm gonna count it down. And if you're new to watching us, basically you get the behind the scenes of what it's like to put together a podcast and all of our errors and stuff. So, all right.
This is just a chit chat session. Just wait till you see what goes on really behind the scenes.
Right. All right, here we go. I'm going to read the intro, and we'll throw it over to you in our usual surprising fashion. Counting down. 3 and 2 and 1. Welcome, faithful listeners, to MASKast 47 and our humble quest to review the entire Mobile Armored Strike Command series. Coming up in this podcast, we'll continue MASKast's 4th season journey of covering episodes 31 to 40 with episode 34, Peril in Paris. It was originally broadcast on November 14th, 1985 in the U.S., and finds Agent Buddy Hawks trying to infiltrate Venom's secret base in Paris and thwart their plan to bomb the city unless they are paid $1 billion. I had to do it.
That actually, I looked like I was picking my nose there.
Can Buddy use the element of disguise to penetrate Venom's defense? Can Matt Tracker save Scott and T-Bob from atop the Eiffel Tower? Guess you'll have to stick around to find out. We'll be giving our play-by-play commentary along with audio clips mixed in from the actual episode. Plus, as always, you'll hear our personal ratings and reviews and also our listener feedback via our agentsofmask.com website. We invite you to interact with us prior to each podcast by clicking on the convenient MASKast assignment link in the right-hand column on our homepage. I'm one of your humble hosts, Jason, and with me, as always, is my longtime friend and co-host of MASKast, the penny to my Inspector Gadget, Wyatt. There is nothing to worry because I'm always on duty.
There's something to worry if you're calling me a female. Holy crap.
Well, who was the real agent, behind all the Inspector Gadget?
Well, she may have been, but the last time I looked, I don't think I belong in that category. I'm probably closer to the dog than Penny. But I liked her cool little computer book.
Brain.
I think that was a precursor to like the laptop.
Yeah, she had the book and the watch too. If you remember, I saw a little article up on, I think it was BuzzFeed, that said, "Hey, Penny had the Apple Watch before Apple did." So
well, we could nitpick that to like the nth degree, but was it Dick Tracy and possibly James Bond? As much as I would love to lay claim to Knight Rider, I think those guys beat out the
Yeah.
iPhone, iWatch, whatever they call it now.
Well, but she had. I don't think they had like video, and I
No,
think she had video. It's been a while since I've seen Inspector Gadget. But speaking of which, have you heard they're going to bring it back?
no, I haven't.
They
That'd be
uh,
awesome.
they announced that 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I think it's Netflix that's actually going to bring it back. And they posted some kind of picture. I don't know if it was from the actual cartoon, but it was more the 3D animation, uh, CGI type
Right.
stuff that they're going to bring it back. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That'd be
And
cool. I liked the renditions that they made the movies. The only thing I didn't like, and of course I'll nitpick it, is the car. Because again, the nostalgic of it. I guess if I've never seen it before, it's probably pretty cool to see a semi-talking car, but it didn't do much. I'm looking for the sports car that turns into a freaking minivan with a huge bumper claw or whatever it does, and then that uh, I would call it the Go-Go Gadget bucket seat that jumped up through
Yeah,
the roof, if I remember right. I don't know
I
what else it
remember that.
had, but
It was more like a hatchback, if I remember right, wasn't it?
I think that's what the sports car was like. Yeah, but when they popped it into the van, of course I was thinking of like full size van back in the day, but now with all the minivans around, it's probably closer to a little caravan or something along that lines.
I think. Oh man, it's just been so long since I've uh, watched Inspector Gadget. But wasn't the movie had it was like a convertible or something?
Yes, it had a
Okay.
four-door convertible at that. I can't remember the make, but it talked and spit bugs and
Didn't it have like some kind of rocket booster out the back or something?
yeah, it did. It
Yeah,
did have that. A
it's
friend of
been
mine
forever.
actually got to see a small clip of it being filmed uh, when it was
Oh
filmed
yeah.
down in Pittsburgh, and how they got it to move on its own autopilot was it was literally on railroad track type like setup,
Yeah.
and they just wheeled the car out as you saw Penny jump in and take off or however they do. But yeah, I'd like to see it come brought back. I don't know who they would do the voice. They might bring uh, what's his name? I'm trying to think of who played in the movie. I don't know
Oh,
if they do
Matthew
it or not.
Broderick.
Yeah, but even the second one, they had the guy from uh, was it Third Rock?
Oh yes,
I can't
French
think of his
Stewart.
name.
French
Yeah,
Stewart. He was
I
the.
thought his voice was a lot more gadget-like than Matt Broderick's.
I
To
don't
me,
think I've seen. I actually don't think I've seen that. The second one.
I saw it.
But
It's not any more amazing than the first one. I mean, it wasn't. It was not a five-star by any means.
right.
It was nostalgic. Like watch. Well, I'm not even comparing it to Transformers, but I mean, it's cool to watch it. It's cool CGI, but still, it's not what we grew up with. Wasn't
Yeah.
there's that stinking comparison. We do,
Yeah. I can see that.
but
I
that'd
don't
be
know.
cool to see it brought back. I've seen off and on through Netflix and other entities where they've brought back, Woody Woodpecker and well, they. I wrote an article for you here, I think last year for RD80s
Voltron.
for the Voltron, where they did the Voltron. They've actually brought it back twice. They had Voltron 3D, and then they had Voltron
Force.
Force, which was a whole new 2011 or 2010 era Voltron, which was funky,
I
cool, but
just
funky.
uh, I just added to my queue tonight to check out the Force. I think it's on Netflix.
It's actually good, but it's like the Netflix cuts it off. I say cuts it off. It looks like it goes to a season two, or they plan for a season two, and you don't see it. So I don't know if Netflix doesn't have it yet, or if
Uh,
that was what happened in on Cartoon Network or whoever ran it. Um,
it's
I don't know
quite
if
possible.
they didn't get picked up for the second season, and that's all you get.
Netflix is notorious for leaving, well, not seasons, but I know for the longest time people were complaining about Quantum Leap, and they was missing some of the good episodes. I guess that's what
Well,
was
I
the
can attest to
major
that. There's
complaint.
lots of I was watching. I can't remember what it is now. MASH was one of them when I was remodeling the bathroom here a couple weeks ago. A couple other shows I've watched, and there's scenes that they've taken out. They've cut
What?
little scenes. Now, granted, I have the DVD, so maybe that's why I got the kind of sort of uncut versions. But now that I know that, and then I go watch it on Netflix, I'm like, I'm being ripped off. Oh, come on.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what's going on here. Give a shout out to Philip Gibson. Thanks for commenting there. We looks like we got maybe a couple other people watching too, but leave us a comment as we go through, and this will be part of the new MASKast as we get some people along the way, and we can kind of comment live and stuff too. But anyway, shall we move on into the next segment?
Let's, like as you say, it's my turn now. Let's get our mask on.
Yes.
I like this segment.
Well, I don't have much for Get Your Mask On this time around, other than we got our new Redbubble store that we get to promote now. And if you've been following us for any period of time, you know I've dabbled with the little mashup designs, and I tried to crowdfund a couple T-shirts, T-shirt designs, and those failed. But
it happens.
I decided to go ahead and make those available anyway on Redbubble if you really wanted one. The first design was that mashup of Thundercats and Thunderhawk, and I made that one a little bit different. I kind of revamped the overall circle that's on the shirt with the shadow of Thunderhawk and the Thundercats lettering. That was really fun to do. And then another one I made was the M.A.S.K logo, but it's got the G.I. Joe mask device inside with the picture of Destro at the bottom instead of the regular mask. And then I've made a couple that are off the trail of M.A.S.K that, I don't know, maybe some people will enjoy, but, us being the 80s buffs that we are.
That's saying it mildly.
I did one with Gremlins. I mashed that up with
Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo.
That was awesome. I got a chance to look at your store today finally to see all your. It's only 5 right now, but that was I actually got a good chuckle out of that.
That was I get these ideas and I'm like, I got to put them down somewhere, and why not on a T-shirt or something, since I'm getting better with the graphic design and Photoshop and all that stuff. But so I did that one, and what's the other ones I have out there? I can't even remember. That's awful. Anyway, go check it out over at Redbubble. You can just search for Agents of M.A.S.K, and you'll find our little store there. And if you feel so inclined, that would be great to grab a shirt, and all the funds we put right back into the website. So we've had actually a couple of buyers already, so thank you if you bought a design from us, and keep those funds back in. And speaking of those funds, we're going to be hosting a couple giveaways hopefully shortly. I know one item I am going to give away is the DVD set, the Volume 1, which is the first 11 episodes or whatever. It seems that for some reason Amazon is not stocking the DVDs anymore. I don't know why, the Shout Factory ones. They're the complete set is still on Shout Factory, and I think it's like $60.
Yeah, I think that's what I saw, 58 or 60. Yeah.
We'll have to sell a few more T-shirts to snag one of those to give away.
Yeah, a few.
I did manage to get that Volume 1 set that we'll give away, and I totally spaced today. Back last year, we had bought 3 of the Thunderhawk Hot Wheels.
Oh, yeah.
Box. And, of course, I sent one to you, and I kept one, and we were going to give one away, and we never did. So we'll put that in the giveaway bin as well, and we'll do a
That should not be in the giveaway bin. That should be the highest bidder. Come on. Just kidding.
We need to thank our followers.
Oh, yeah.
For sticking with us, and I got an idea for a giveaway come Mask Day this year that hopefully people will get on board with, and maybe we'll do like a joint giveaway between the Matt Tracker and Boulder Hill and all the other sites that you guys go on to get your mask on. I got an idea for that, so maybe we'll get a really nice giveaway for Mask Day this year. But that's all I got. Did you have anything else you wanted to add to the Mask community news?
Community, there's some minor talk. We're still working with other entities to make a kind of a more robust Mask Day than what we had last year. Last year was a great start. I think we all could agree that it was a good start or a good beginning for Mask Day celebrations. We're trying to work with a few other guys and see what we can do to make it a bigger impact. And one of those, I'm trying, and hopefully I can get up with Bill Ferries over at matttracker.com and see if we can go actually to RetroCon to hang out with Mr. Doug Stone, Matt Tracker himself. Probably not
I'm
hang out, so
jealous.
to speak, but at least say hey and sign maybe my Thunderhawk back here. Sign your
Yes,
poster,
I will be sending you my poster.
and I'll be hijacking it. No, but yeah, well, we'll see what happens. I need to talk to Bill about that. But just minor things to pique your interest. We are actively working. Some days it's more than others, and I'm sorry for the webcam shaking. I'm using my cat's scratching post as a table temporarily.
I'm using a empty vacuum box, so
So
yep, makeshift.
mine's just temporary for now, but that's fine. I'm
One
loving the change up.
one other thing too. I'm not going to go into any detail, but there is another collaborative effort going on behind the scenes to bring the Mask fans together. We'll say. So
Right.
we'll announce more
As it approaches, right?
as things become closer. So yeah, we're working actively behind the scenes on
Yes.
many things this year to essentially celebrate the 30th anniversary.
And
And
we're hoping to. I'm working on something, Jason. You know of it. We're trying to see if we can do some artwork for our movie script idea. At the moment, and I'm talking in the very early drafting stages. It's I'm going for a screenplay storyboard type theme at the moment. But if at worst case, at least show what I'm trying to think of, what we're trying to think of as vehicles and
that would be
characters and
cool.
so forth. So, like we said, we are working behind the scenes. Sometimes our articles don't get out as well as we'd like, uh, but we're behind the scenes working it while we still have full-time jobs and families and
Right.
vehicles to work on and fences to build and everything in between.
Yes. Mask is our passion.
That is. Where's the money? There's dollar signs in that S somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, and one more small little thing. If you've got an idea, if you've been following us for a while and subscribe to our YouTube channel, you've seen the Mask music video tributes that I put up there. One is Sly Rax to the tune of Tom Petty's "You Wreck Me," and him just wrecking his piranha bike every single way possible.
Like he usually does anyway.
And then I also did Vanessa to Devo's "Whip It," and I've got her using her whip mask, throughout the series. A nice montage of that. So I'm looking for some ideas on where to go with the next one. I'd like to do another one here before too long. One idea I did have, maybe Wyatt, you can tell me yes or no on this one. There is a song called Gloria. I think it was
Ooh.
81, 82
Yeah,
that we could use for Gloria. Maybe
we could.
doing the Aura mask or something. Or I've had some we've had some comments over on Facebook and some other emails and messages to us for some ideas, which have been decent. We'll see. But if you've got an idea, you can email it to Jason at agentsofmask.com, or there's a post over on Facebook. Just leave a comment there, or just message us or whatever. You'll find us. Go to one of your favorite social media, and we're there.
We try. If not, Jason will find out a way to get us on the next one.
Right.
Hey, final shout out before we kick it off.
Sure.
Hey, Eric, over at Boulder Hill, thanks for joining, as well as Vaughn. It seems like we dropped a guy. Oh, there he is, James. Shout out to all our live watchers at the moment. So
cool.
I think that does it for our mask on. It's time to get the mask off, I guess. And
yes, we'll end that segment, and we will. All right, you totally blew my cue there. I was going to say, so you could start.
Sorry, someone popped in a question. Can you fuse the Thundercats theme song with clips of Thunderhawk? That's a good idea for you.
Yeah, there's an idea.
You've already done it. You've already done it for the T-shirt idea. You know, that's actually a good one.
That might work. I actually was thinking. I was trying to think of something for Thunderhawk, and maybe I could get some like Top Gun music or something, and with the jets, and it has a pretty good theme. Not the Kenny Loggins song. It's the one where it's like piano and the electric guitar. I can't remember.
Highway to the Danger Zone?
No. That's the Kenny Loggins. But there's another theme they play at the very beginning of Top Gun when they're taking off from the deck, and
it's been so long since I've
throughout the movie. It's on Netflix if you care. As is most things nowadays.
Yeah. So anyway, let's try that cue again so I can mess it up once more time.
So let's, yeah. So we're done getting our mask on. Shall we move on to the actual episode?
That's right. Let's start the MASKast. I got it right this time. We fade up on the Eiffel Tower in a smoggy Paris. We then end up inside the Louvre Museum with Matt, Scott, T-Bob, and Buddy being guided. With a yawn, Scott wonders why they need to be up so early to look at paintings. I would ask the same freaking question too, I'll be honest. T-Bob, with a computer blip kind of sound effect going on around him right now, comments that they could have seen it any time prior to Matt giving it all away to the museum. Which, that makes sense too. I'm with them. The guide is amused as he states that it's the least that they can do before the Louvre gets crowded. However, Scott wants to see the Eiffel Tower, of course. Turning the corner, they are all surprised as they see all of the paintings turned around, which I think I would be too. Baffled, Matt asks why, while Buddy asks how they got in. All while Scott is now intrigued about this whole quandary that's going on. Matt then asks Buddy to take the duo to the tower while he investigates. Matt doesn't want them to get into any trouble. So then why did he do that? Why did he even suggest that?
Then I like Buddy's line next.
Yeah, Buddy jokingly suggests that the best way to keep them out of trouble is to put them in a cage. But he'll do his best nonetheless.
Tell it.
That is about the right thing. You have to put them in a cage or something.
Throw away the freaking key.
That's right. I got an image, but it's not mask related, so I'll keep going. It's Alf, still 80s. Anyway, we now hear the Venom theme fade up, which is cool, while Matt looks intently at one of the turned paintings. After a few looks, he notices a door ajar. Intrigued, he looks in and around the room before noticing a stairwell. Upon reaching the bottom of the stairs, he looks around before stunned by a large hole, or possibly like a well. At another location, which almost looks like the Tracker Mansion at first, we see Dagger, Miles, and Miles playing what I would call classic concentration,
Nice.
putting the photos up on a tack board.
That was one of my favorite game shows.
I love that. I don't know why I got nixed so soon, but I loved it.
All right, I guess I'm going from there.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay. Well, before we get into the puzzle solving, that sequence with Matt was really good, and I loved hearing that extended theme of Venom. And
Yes.
one of these days, I'm gonna try to clean up that audio because that's about the best chance of getting a full, Venom scene audio, Venom theme audio available. There's a couple little sound effects in there that I want to get out of there, but that was really cool and had this kind of Scooby-Doo type of,
Right.
mystery solving going on. But at the end, it really erupted. It came to an end really abrupt, and I had to rewind and go back because I didn't understand what Matt was so surprised about. I guess the hole in the floor, but it just looked. I don't know. It didn't make sense.
I'd be kind of surprised too if I saw what looked like a sinkhole or something in the basement of the.
Yeah, and I couldn't really tell what it was. That's why I had to go back and kind of look at it. But I really liked that sequence. That was really good. All right, so we're back in there. We're doing some puzzle solving now with Mayhem and Dagger. Mayhem fits a piece onto this board as Dagger, he's stumped by his piece. Mayhem calls him a cretin and tells him he's got it upside down. Vanessa enters. She's dressed in this lab coat with Rax then appearing with these last two pieces of this, what we would find out as a map. After Mayhem quickly swipes them away, Rax wonders why they didn't take any of the paintings from the Louvre that would be worth millions. And I kind of like this about Rax. Why are we doing all this work and we're just, leaving the paintings on the wall, right, so to speak? But Mayhem tells him, he didn't want to take any heat from the police and they could buy the Louvre with what they're going to make off these map pieces, basically.
He always thinks big.
Yes, he does. I think it was the thinking about it, the one where they're in Africa, the blue slime, and they're there, I think, trying to smuggle some ivory or something, and he drops, that whole plan to go after this slime. So yeah, he's always got the bigger, better plan, bigger, better deal. But let's see, where the heck was I? Behind the Louvre. Well, then Dagger asked Rax and Vanessa why they want to buy some paintings. Mayhem, he gets the final puzzle piece in play. So Dagger still doesn't know what the heck's going on. He's clueless. Then we get the military type theme as Mayhem exclaims that he knows where the triggering device is. He instructs Dagger to retrieve the device, as it will be only a matter of time before someone catches on. And I was like, well, if you'd only turn the paintings back around after you... nobody would have noticed, and nobody would have been catching on, I don't know. That just kind of hit me right there. I was like, hey, dummy, turn the paintings back around. Anyway, so we fade back into the city, and we see Hurricane. T-Bob is trying to read the map to find the Eiffel Tower inside. Buddy says it's nice to be driving Hondo's Hurricane, so we've changed from Night Stalker to Hurricane now. I wonder what happened there,
Well, like you said, wasn't there, or maybe it was it Bill? Or maybe Eric was saying that there was a situation like something going on in his.
That was actually Anna, I think, when she posted a comment up.
Okay, so yeah, there was something going on, and it was nicknamed the Night Stalker. So I guess possibly that could have led to changing it to Hurricane.
Could have been.
But I liked his reference here that he actually names it. It's Hondo's Hurricane.
Yeah,
it's not anybody's. Like we kind of get the feel sometimes.
That was interesting because we had him swap out in Firecracker a couple times too early on in the series. So just they referred to it as Hondo's Hurricane. Hondo must be kicking butt and taking names to keep people away from it or something.
Right.
Anyway, going back to the scene inside the vehicle there, Scott asked Buddy to stop at this nearby restaurant. Buddy moans that they just had breakfast, but Scott interjects, it was only a half hour ago, with Buddy kind of in unbelief,
Right.
And then we get this camera focusing in on the mansion where Venom was held up a little earlier, kind of right behind Buddy. So we see that Hurricane just happens to be stopped near this mansion. And then we see Scott getting his food, and Buddy wants to take this map from T-Bob because he seems to think the Eiffel Tower isn't anywhere near them, and
Right.
because T-Bob's map skills aren't up to par. I was like, well, why don't you ask this dude that's handing you the food? He his store
Makes sense.
there. Where's the Eiffel Tower, buddy? Anyway, and then as T-Bob insists he knows where the Eiffel Tower is, a vehicle squeals by, and we see that it's Jackhammer.
Right. Identifying Venom, he makes a phone call from a phone booth, classic 80s there, to Matt. But he asks to take a look around while Matt says he'll join him. However, he wants Scott and T-Bob safe first. Buddy asks the duo, which this is hilarious, make sure that they're safe first. But Buddy kind of just, hey, you guys go find the Eiffel Tower, and I'm going to go on my own back to Matt. Priorities. So an anxious Scott asks if they can come. T-Bob adds that anytime they ask to help, it's them that ends up needing the help, which is very true.
It's true, yes.
So the duo run off while Buddy opens the trunk, grabbing a briefcase. Then he runs off to a nearby alleyway and opens up his disguise case. He ends up dressing exactly like Dagger. He then climbs on top of a building, running what I guess would be a few yards on the roof.
That was a pretty daring feat, even for like Spider-Man. He just
I know.
started climbing up the wall. I was like, okay, go for it, man.
Then he uses a grappling hook and goes like hang lining to the other end of the complex, and then inside he ends up stumbling onto the map. In another room, we see Vanessa reading the paper while Rax and Miles are arguing while they're playing cards. I nicknamed him Legit Dagger, the real Dagger. Walks in with Miles yelling at him, which is always seems to be commonplace lately.
Yeah.
Saying that he thought he told him to find that thing. He replies that he forgot the map. Miles continues to insult him, saying he'd forget his head if it wasn't attached. Rax flips up Miles' cards, trying to catch a good hand
like
there,
that,
see what's going on. While Vanessa comments, who'd notice? Legit Dagger walks into the room with Buddy Dagger. He asks, hey, what am I doing here? With Buddy Dagger running off.
No, that was a funny line. I actually laughed
it.
out loud at that. What am I doing here?
So Buddy tries to break the window with no success, then runs off and somehow swings from a rope past Dagger. Where did this rope come in from?
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, what in the world?
Yeah. And then then out. Both Daggers run through the room with the rest of Venom. Legit Dagger asks where he went with everyone stunned. Dagger then yells after him, he's a spy! Rax is the smart one and grabs his mask while the rest do not.
Right.
Looking outside, we see Buddy running through the courtyard with Rax engaging Stiletto. His darts cut the two chains holding this iron gate up, and as it falls, Buddy trips, and he is directly underneath this gate as it continues to fall. And that leads us to our commercial break.
That was quick.
It was, really.
We're already at halftime.
I think that's the quickest we've ever run with this.
It could have been, but yeah, um, eh, I don't know. That whole scene, why is Rex the only one that grabs his mask? Well, obviously, so he can shoot the darts at the gate, and had it set up ahead of time. But I thought that was crazy that well, we're going to go after him, and there's our weapons right there on the table. It's sleeping
Exactly.
behind. And that rope trick, I don't know. That was a little
That one,
crazy, but
yeah. So what's your rating so far?
I mean, it's pretty good so far. I had some laughs. At this point, the plot still is somewhat of a mystery, which is good. Um, I like that the simple heists aren't intriguing mayhem as much as the other agents. He's always looking for the bigger, better thing, like we said. There was a few what I would call annoyances. Uh, the rope trick. He had rope when he went down through there, but I don't know. He didn't show him like lassoing a
Right.
chandelier, and that's all they needed to do was one little extra.
2 second clip that shows him
Yeah,
doing it. Yeah.
and I don't know. There was some laziness too. I thought with the animation where at the very beginning, the very scene where they're walking through the Louvre, they walk past the same statue like 3 or 4 times. I'm
Hmm.
like, come on, draw something else in there that they walk past. You pull back from the scene, and there's not even any statues around. It's all painted.
Right.
So where's this? I know they're trying to make motion, but
Right.
that was a little lazy. But they had some cool shots in the first half too. Back when Buddy scales the wall, there's this awesome like focusing shot of him like head on with that grappling gun,
Yes. Very
pointed
cool.
right at the camera, and he shoots it right at the what would be the camera. So that was really good, and there was some other point where there was a pretty cool, scene with the camera like they've been doing. Um, uh, yeah, and the other point I was going to make too is Buddy's pretty much fired as T-Bob and Scott's babysitter.
Oh yeah.
After that whole, ditch him so I can go do this this thing for Matt. But anyway, on our 1 to 5 scale, which we always start as a 5, I'm no less than a 4.5 right now. It was pretty good so far. What about you?
Well, I guess I'm the eternal optimist. Optimist, not optimist. Um, I really enjoyed the detail, like you said. I liked the close-ups, and like you, I'm kind of drawing a blank. I should have jotted it down, but there was a lot of good close-up shots that I liked. I liked the squealing tires. I realize it's minor, but I liked that kind of surprise that was going on in the background. Um, yeah, Buddy is completely fired as babysitting any of my kids. Um, uh, I liked the grappling hook trick, but I didn't like that he scaled the wall, free climbed it. I don't know anybody that can really free climb. I'm sure there's a few. I don't know any personally. Um, but like you, I like the suspense of this plot that's going on right now. You don't know exactly what's going on. They're looking for something, a triggering device, but you kind of are piecing together this map right
Yeah.
now. Um, I I didn't ding it by any means because we knew it was coming up, but the name change from Night Stalker to Hurricane. Uh, Otherwise, I'm right at like 4.9. There's not a lot to ding right now. The rope, like you identified, the mysterious rope that he did a Tarzan move there, uh, minor to me. I would have liked to have a lasso or some kind of he took it off the curtain, something that shows that he grabbed it from somewhere.
And
But
we're being picky.
yeah, we
There's
are.
there's a couple other times throughout the series that we've nitpicked, but if there's just been one or two other little scenes that would lead up to what they're trying to do, I mean, that's all it takes, and
Right.
just those little details that they miss sometimes. But Anyway, all right. Well, let's continue on. And as we fade back up from the dramatic commercial, the gate continues to come down, and we see Thunderhawk pulling up with Mask getting out, with Matt getting out, and stepping into Hurricane to launch the spare tire. Well, the tire, this magical spare tire, lands and just happens to wedge and stop right underneath the gate just in time to save Buddy, which explains, it's time to retire. His
Right.
little rim shot there.
What I
But
liked about I'm enjoying that they're doing this engine winding down sound effect with Thunderhawk lately. I love that because he is jet powered, so I'm
yeah,
really enjoying that.
but I mean, this whole scene was just a little too convenient. I mean, Matt had all that time to stop Thunderhawk, get out, launch the tire, and then the tire make it just as this gate slowly came down. I mean, if I'm
Right.
Matt and I'm in Thunderhawk, just blast the damn gate down. You got the laser cannons.
I'm like you. That's what I was thinking. Where's the laser cannon? Where's the spectrum? Something that shoots out something to melt it or whatever. But
Anything.
I still like the drama because to me, even though there was too much time taking up going from vehicle to vehicle, I kind of did like that he actually knew Hurricane how it well operated. He had a radio button that tripped that
Yeah.
spare tire to go. But
Yeah.
yeah, in an
I
ideal
mean,
world, I would have shot the heck out of that gate.
we're not gonna notice that as kids, but now that we're reviewing it, and I'm like,
30 years later.
just shoot the thing. I mean, if stiletto darts can take out a couple chains, then the freaking lasers on Thunderhawk ought to be able to take down that whole that whole wall. Anyway, all right. Well, Buddy, he flees from the scene with Mayhem now declaring their plan needs to go into action now that Mask is on to them. And Venom runs to their vehicles with masks on. Dagger, his is lowered, so
Mhm.
remember, was it in the room
I
with the
think
others
so.
sitting on
I
the?
thought it was, but I'm not
So
certain.
that was just a little small mistake there, but pretty much everybody else has their mask on, or I think Sly puts his on as he jumps on the bike, and we drive off with their headlights kind of glaring into the camera, and that was pretty cool. Now we're back at the entrance to the mansion, just where we were. Buddy retrieves his normal clothes and thanks Matt for his help. Matt says he couldn't let them get the drop on him. Ha 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 ha. Uh, but Buddy goes to tell him about the map, but Matt has already uncovered the map somehow as they hit the road. And over the screens in the vehicles, they have this conversation, and Matt and the MASK computer kind of explain the plot now of Venom, which is to find this like remote control device that triggers these bombs underneath Paris that were planted there by the Nazis during World War II. Now this is cool. I mean, I like it when they put a little history into it.
Right.
That always adds a little something extra to me when they work in some actual history into a fantasy story. In other words, but
Right.
they now realize that they need to stop Venom from finding it before they are able to take Paris hostage. In other words, and then we head back in with the vehicles entering the sewer system.
Right. And just before that, I wanted to make comment.
Uh
I
huh.
liked how the Venom vehicles exited that mansion because it almost looked like they were exiting the Boulder Hill garage. I saw a lot of likeness there. So
Yeah, I remember that.
so yes, they're getting into the sewers. Hitler supposedly planted bombs in a network of sewers under the city. So that's where they're basically where they're heading towards. Um, I like the detail on the monitors. The I wanted to make mention also while we're watching the videos and stuff going back and forth. The artists were able to put um, like the monitor glows on the. I am trying to point it on there. Little monitor glows on the little corners of your like screen. I liked how they put that detail on it. So, like we were saying, we're now at the Babbling Water Canal is what I called it, where we see Thunderhawk and Hurricane drive down, then turn into a large sewer tunnel. Driving along, Matt notes that the triggering device is located somewhere close to them. With a blinding light, we hear Buddy identify Venom, who is coming right at them. Rax says, "Not so fast," and begins shooting them with Piranha's subguns. Dagger drops the grill and engages the guns, blasting at Mask as well, dodging the blast. Though they actually look spot on to me, looked like they would have already took out Thunderhawk.
Mm-hmm.
We see the Spectrum Max drop down. Of course, there's no command.
No, there wasn't this time, was there?
With Matt saying, "Where there's rats, you're going to find the cheese." Ha ha.
Roll my eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Buddy's penetrator masks lower, as well with Buddy commenting that Matt's been hanging around Bruce too long. I think this is more like a T-Bob bad joke than a Bruce quip. Anyway, the
little combination of both there.
Could be. Then the two masked cars split up into two nearby tunnels, with Rax chasing after Thunderhawk and Dagger chasing after Hurricane. Focusing on the Thunderhawk Piranha chase, Matt pulls a Men in Black move, driving Thunderhawk up along the tunnel wall.
That's exactly what I thought, dude.
He's circling, and then he comes back onto the level ground. Then on the flip side, we see Buddy is...
That's impressive.
Yeah, it was. I actually liked it. They didn't press the red button that wasn't supposed to be pressed, but still it was pretty cool. I would have kind of thought they should have hit like at least the jet engines on Thunderhawk to make it dramatic.
That would have been cool. Pull off that little corkscrew move. Yeah.
So on the flip side, we have Buddy chasing after Dagger. You go ahead.
Oh, okay. Actually, it's Jackhammer somehow now head on with Hurricane. I didn't understand how that happened because they were following before and now they're head on.
Right.
But Dagger, he just says the hell with it and starts firing torch balls at Hurricane with Buddy skidding to a halt, and then he does this like 180 maneuver, spraying water up onto Dagger in the torch mask, and I think he says, "Here's some scum for the scum," or something like that, as he puts out the fire, somewhat. But and then we get above the street. We're back with our duo, Scott and T-Bob, and they're wandering near one of the tunnel entrances. They're wandering near one of the tunnel entrances to the sewer, and they're still looking for the Eiffel Tower. At this point, I was like, the thing is 100 feet tall or more, okay? Look up in the air, you morons.
You would think, yes.
Or freaking ask someone, okay?
It could be worse. They could be pulling a Friends Joey moment and standing inside the map.
Right.
Just saying.
Anyway, Scott wants to go exploring in this, newly found tunnel, with T-Bob, of course, objecting, and as he is talking to him, he accidentally uncovers a hidden switchblade nearby with this tarp over it. And then we're right back into the sewer, and Mayhem is using the Viper Mask, finally. We haven't seen that in a while. And he's using it to penetrate the wall. He's using Manta's headlights to kind of see what he's doing. Vanessa's just standing nearby with her arms crossed. And now we get Jackhammer and Piranha approaching Thunderhawk from behind. They're firing their lasers again, with some hitting the roof above and dropping debris onto the hood of Thunderhawk. And now we get Thunder Cane.
Wow.
Now we get And now we get Hurricane appearing on the scene and using its headlight lasers to essentially provide cover fire for Thunderhawk. And Rex tries the corkscrew trick that Thunderhawk just did a couple scenes ago before, and nearly crashes into Jackhammer trying to pull this off. I thought it would have been funny if he would have actually crashed. That would have been like perfect timing. Oh, Thunderhawk can do it. I'm going to try, and
Right.
dumps the bike or something. But anyway, we're back to Scott, and he's now pushing some buttons on T-Bob. And T-Bob wants him to radio in to his dad from a safer location, since he's got switchblades sitting nearby. And at this point, I thought, well, I think it was maybe the very first episode with the Death Stone that Scott hijacked Switchblade for a while there and kind of flew it erratically and dumped it in the ocean or something.
Yes. Yes.
I was like, I can see him doing that again, but he decides to stay out of the Switchblade this time.
You would think.
And then Scott says there isn't much time, that he needs to, that they may need their help. T-Bob, he slowly and sarcastically repeats Scott's line about Matt needing their help, like, just get me out of here, Scott, and then, let's see.
Should be back inside with Manta.
Yeah, and then we go back inside, and now we see Mayhem has opened up this wall with the Viper mask, and he discovers the device that's essentially just sitting on this desk, and he quickly exits with Vanessa, and now we get Thunderhawk and Hurricane back in pursuit, trying to find out and find this location.
Right, and we hear outside. We see Miles jump into Switchblade, taking off with Manta, then peeling out of the tunnel.
Actually, you missed the part where Manta uses the saw blades.
Did I not?
All right, well, let me keep going, and then I'll kick it back over to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Spectrum sees the, and then we're right back with Thunderhawk and Hurricane in pursuit of their location to find this device. Matt appears to be using Spectrum. I guess when he sees the headlights of Mana coming straight towards him, and we see those two front circular saws that come out of the grill of Manta, kind of telling Thunderhawk, you better get out of the way. The two masked vehicles avoid the blades, with Matt assuming that they have the device, I guess by which way they were traveling. They're, I guess, coming back out from the middle of the sewers and stuff, back out towards the entrance. Didn't really explain that too much,
Right.
But the two masked cars do quick U-turns, and they follow Manta back towards the surface.
Right. Scott then radios in to Matt, telling him of his Switchblade find. Matt calmly instructs Scott to get out of there, and that's an order, to go to the Eiffel Tower where they're going to be safer. T-Bob then insists by grabbing him and running off. Back inside with the action, as Manta passes by, Jackhammer and Piranha pull up to attempt a barricade, shooting at M.A.S.K. Matt quickly instructs Buddy to follow him, and they turn off into a nearby tunnel. Outside, we see Switchblade taking off with Manta, then peeling out of the tunnel. In the air, we hear Miles projecting from a loudspeaker over Paris, telling that he has bombs within their sewers, and they have 1 hour to pay $1 billion, or he will turn it all into rubble. That's pretty dang quick to pull out $1 billion.
I know. I was like, you gotta
In
give them
that
some
era.
time there, Miles. Come on, man. They don't still have $1 billion in their back pocket to give you.
Not in the 80s. Back inside the tunnel once more, we see Thunderhawk transform into jet mode and take to the air. On the Eiffel Tower, we see the crowd running out of the tower, with T-Bob trying to get Scott to go with him.
They found it finally.
It took them, when they're in a hurry,
Yeah.
then they find it.
I was like, it took them the whole episode to, they're bumbling and stumbling around trying to find the thing, and then all of a sudden they're there. I was like, okay.
Instead, he's captivated by the air battle. We then switch over to Switchblade, Thunderhawk, and Manta, all in that order, flying with Manta blasting away at Thunderhawk. One blast hits a beam on the Eiffel Tower, causing it to begin falling. T-Bob begins to yell for help. With Hurricane coming up, we see Buddy get up on the turret gun where he uses the laser blast to basically weld that former blast beam. Just then, Rax and Dagger arrive, blasting at Hurricane. We now flip to Switchblade engaging the jet engines and taking off. Matt flies by with Mayhem chasing after Thunderhawk. He shoots at Thunderhawk, hitting the wings. Matt radios to Buddy saying he can't hold out much longer. He continues that they need to fight or Miles will take over the city. With Thunderhawk diving in with Miles and Vanessa chasing him, Matt lands Thunderhawk safely all amongst this rain of laser blasts. Then Buddy runs and jumps into what is supposed to be a failing airplane right at this point, supposedly, and they just, boom, take right back off. But I did love I love the jet winding down sound effect that's going on here.
Yeah, and did you notice, I think this is the point where Buddy's up in the turret, and it essentially transforms with him still in the turret, and then he pops out the door of the car. I thought that was really cool.
Yes, I like that.
To hop into the Thunderhawk. But you want me to go from there?
I can keep going. I gotta find out where I left off. I was checking all the comments.
Buddy hopped in the cockpit.
There he is. Yeah. So Buddy uses the penetrator mask over the entire Thunderhawk with Matt flying. Flying Thunderhawk straight on and through Switchblade, which was pretty cool. Of course, I still had a slight Slimer theme in my head with that, so I was waiting for the ooze to spill all over Miles there.
It was a little bit weird, and I was I guess kind of confused, you would say, in trying to understand the abilities of the penetrator mask and what you can and can't do. And you don't think of that as a kid, but I'm like, okay, so they're going through Switchblade. How are you able to pick stuff up?
True, very true. But you notice, here's something else that's kind of perplexing now that we're on the topic is back at the magma mole, didn't Buddy have to actually hook up something to Firecracker to make it actually work like that?
He did. Yeah, I thought about that too. I was like, he didn't hook it up to anything. And I mean, can he just, whatever he touches at the time when he activates the mask, he can make hollow or invisible, whatever.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, like I said, that's one of those masks that they don't define, and they can do whatever they want to with it.
That's true. So Miles, like you said, Miles now notices that the remote control has somehow disappeared. He says that it's gone, with Buddy saying, "Oh, I have it." That's all that it takes, and Miles orders his crew to retreat, which is just pitiful.
Very.
So, you take it.
Okay. And then we go back to the top of the Eiffel Tower, and Scott wants M.A.S.K to pursue them. I like that. Scott's always energetic about helping them and wanting to go after them. That's definitely Scott's attitude.
Yes.
Trying to do that. But just as he says that, the tower begins to shake, and it causes both of them to fall through this fenced railing, and now they're hanging on for dear life. So of course the Venom pursuit is off to save them.
Right.
As Matt, he's up in Thunderhawk, and he instructs Buddy to essentially land it as he uses Spectrum Hang Glider to swoop in and save the duo off the side of the Eiffel Tower. They land near Thunderhawk, which is already landed and reached the ground. That was a little, I don't know. There were some points the logistics of this episode kind of made me stop and think and kind of get out of the episode. But
Right, but what I liked about that little tiny point, it wasn't that, basically Matt saves the day, but I saw the cool little feature that basically when Buddy walked out, then Thunderhawk's door closed automatically.
yeah,
I liked that little
cool.
feature.
Scott, he's still being his persistent self and insists that Matt should have pursued Venom, but Matt tells him that they definitely will get another chance. Now, I like that answer.
Yes.
So we fade back after all the action has died down. We're back at the restaurant, and Matt explains all is well with all the bombs found in the city. The tower's been repaired, and the device that they found is now a relic in a museum. So this must be, I don't know, several weeks later. It would seem like to get all that stuff done. He asks if they want to do anything with the couple days they have left. And looking at the map now, T-Bob wants to go see the Casbah. Well, Matt snags the map from him and says he's had a map of Algiers this whole time and not Paris. So obviously they couldn't find the Eiffel Tower before. They all have their hearty chuckle. Mainly Scott is the one that you can hear laughing as we fade to black and we fade into our PSA.
Which leads us with Scott looks like he's soldering and working on T-Bob. T-Bob jumps, knocking the soldering iron out of Scott's hands, and it lands on a piece of paper, which ignites a fire. Scott rushes over to I called it the red bat phone.
I was thinking the same thing too. It did look like a bat phone.
And without any words, we are taken outside where we see the smoke coming from the mansion with sirens screaming as well. Matt says there was no damage except to Scott's lab. Scott replies that if the number to the fire department wasn't close by, it could have been worse.
It was a good PSA.
It was. I liked it. And it was back in the day when you actually had specific numbers. You really didn't have the 911 thing. And yes, the red bat phone and the Men in Black thing, you can tell if anybody's been following us too much, and Jason's been lately opening that we're longtime friends, and sometimes it's eerie how much we think alike sometimes.
Yes. Yeah, we've known each other for quite a while, so I laugh, but it's really not surprising that we write the same things down in our notes.
And we don't cheat.
We don't, yeah. We don't talk about our reviews or anything. I don't even read the comments that are posted up beforehand, so it's funny how it kind of all comes together. I love it when a plan comes together.
And I was just thinking that. You beat me to the punch.
All right, I'm going to let you, I don't know, I can't remember whose turn it is or whatever, but...
Well, it's actually yours, since I read the PSA, but...
Okay. Well, I'll go first. That's fine.
That's fine.
My quick little verdict of this, I was very, very, very close to giving it a 5, but I couldn't do it. It's a solid 4. It was a good episode. And I'll give you the good parts of it first. Continuing the animation, they're continuing to feature creative shots and camera angles, which I've been loving. Like I said, I think last episode, at least the last 4 episodes, they've really almost reinvented the shots and the angles and stuff from the cartoon and the motion. I think it's been very good.
Agreed.
The vehicle shots of some of the transformations, and then the harpoon gun, I've mentioned that one being shot directly at the screen. That was really good. I thought the plot was great. I liked the story, the history behind it. I would say much better than most episodes, and it fit about perfect with something Venom would do, and it wasn't too far-fetched. And like I always say, I'm not against the more sci-fi or mystical, plots and episodes, but this one was practical and used actual history, which is always earns bonus points with me. Um, and the writing was good, and the good animation shots outweighed some of the bad ones that I did notice. I liked seeing Buddy, like I mentioned before, him folding back up into Hurricane. Oftentimes we had wondered how Jackhammer works, and I think one episode we saw Vanessa from the passenger seat go up into the turret, and I just like little details like that. Show me how it works. Show me how it functions.
Exactly.
How it folds up and how the agents get up into those vehicles. I thought that was very good. The bad points, like I said, the animation, it suffered at times. Matt looked choppy to me in a couple of the scenes. The penetrator mask was a little funky when it lowered, and it might be how it was planned, but it was like the mask lowered, and then the snout part, it also lowered, over his mouth. Which if that's the way the mask works, that's cool. But I just never seen it, do that before. My biggest markdown of this whole episode, and I would guess that you noticed this too, Wyatt. Where was the call up? No call up
yes.
in this episode.
No call up. No nothing.
Why did they decide not to use any more agents? I mean, there was 4 Venom agents, and we just had Buddy and Matt that were in Paris, happened to be donating some paintings, and here's Venom. Why wouldn't you call for help?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I didn't, and I noticed it, but I didn't think to even mark it down. To be perfectly honest, I just didn't even think about it.
Well, I guess if more agents had been there, I would have been. And again, this is me as an adult watching this. As a kid, I probably wouldn't have noticed, just because there was some good battle scenes and action throughout that you're not thinking about, I need some more vehicles in here. But like you said, I mean, they were easily, once they lost this little device, they were gone. And there goes 4 vehicles driving off into the sunset with only 2 M.A.S.K vehicles, one that we'd hit already on the wing.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just the things that kind of get me. But
things that make you go, hmm.
Yes, and after I thought about it, I was like, that was at least worth a half point off of my score. So I don't know. I don't know why they didn't call any more people up there. But I think when the computer did the on-screen analysis, I was like, they could have called right there. They could have done it right then, as they knew Venom was on the scene. They knew something was up. Boom, and you get the plane. They could have done it quick. I don't know.
Right.
And then just like I mentioned before, there's just way too many conveniences that added up for me. The logistics didn't sit right with me when Mayhem. He's in Switchblade, flying. This is when he's right before he flies it up to make the announcement to everybody. He's in Switchblade, and we see Manta exit the tunnel. Well, he was just in Manta. That Manta should have drove up, dropped him off, and then left.
Right.
So it was just a little. I don't know. I took TV1 in college, and it just screwed me up for watching television shows. I'm telling you. If anybody's out there and you've been in any television classes, just those little edits, the continuity of when it stops like that just kills you. And then that one time that Jackhammer was in front of Hurricane, I was like, how did he didn't show him turn around? How did he head on? How'd that happen? One thing that was more, I guess, of annoyance was the little footstep sound effect throughout. it just every place that they were at, it sounded the same, and I don't know. I just didn't that sound effect didn't sit with me after they used it a couple of times when they were walking into the Louvre there, and when Matt was walking around, and a couple of times when Scott and T-Bob were walking around, they used just using the same like footstep sound effect. I don't know. This is a tick. These are ticks. Uh, I mean, like I said before, I'd like that they're showing more conversation while they're moving along. But I don't know. I was sick of the footstep sound effects before halftime. Uh, Another thing that was a tick, I guess, is the jackhammer grill guns. It was overkill. They showed it converting like 3 times. I swear.
Yeah, they did.
Every time the jackhammer was on scene, he's firing. They got to lower the grill first. I'm like, well, he's had it down this whole time during this whole time. Anyway, it's just something I noticed. And then, I guess finally, I don't know. I've never been to Paris, but I find it hard to believe that you couldn't find the freaking Eiffel Tower. Come on.
It's supposed to be pretty big, so yeah.
And then the last thing I'll talk about, and again, this is ticks. Wasn't a lot of points that I took off for these, but the penetrator mask, we've seen it engulf an entire vehicle before, like you said, with the magma mole. They didn't show it hooked up to Thunderhawk. I mean, that was okay, but I just don't understand how you're supposed to grab things when you're able to pass through them. If you've watched The Matrix, anybody who's watched The Matrix, the second movie with the twins, they're able to kind of pass through walls and stuff, and they can carry stuff with them when they show up, like with a gun or something. But I don't know. It's just different than other stuff that I've seen lately. Just I don't know. I think I'd rather have its ability more of like just like that, where it's like a portal and you can just for a second kind of go through a wall, like a ghost, passing through solid objects instead of having whole vehicles and being able to take the kitchen sink with you as you're walking through the wall. I don't know. It's a tick, and they've never really explained the mask. So I gave it a 4, and I will now give the remaining of my time to you.
Well, I wasn't quite as harsh. I didn't see some of the things. I didn't notice the footsteps like you did. I mean, I noticed them, but I didn't think of them as annoying or anything. Very good detail. I love the whining and the sound effects that they do. You really took most of the stage, so you said just about everything I jotted down, except for the critiques, really. I just didn't see that much. Maybe I was on a good day. I don't know.
And that happens too. That's happened to me.
I liked the plot. Very good. I enjoyed the battle scenes. The rope thing, like we identified before, and I didn't ding it. I didn't even think to add it with no call-up, no nothing, no teamwork. But I did notice it. Just didn't ding it. And the fact that Venom runs off pretty dang quick. Those were all my 2 real major markdowns, and they weren't that huge. So I'm right at a 5 for this episode. Did you happen to catch any similarities to our movie?
I didn't really pull anything out other than kind of what we've talked about the last couple shows with the personalities coming out and stuff, but I didn't see any specific scenes that tied in.
I had nothing, so you.
Okay, good. Well, let's go right into our feedback and the poll this time.
Knocked 2 votes off of 5. I was trying to get the actual stats to come up, and it kept voting and voting.
Oh.
So it's actually 14.
You want to give it a couple more 5s? Why not?
Well, there's a total of 14, and I tried clicking, and it didn't. It just kept voting. So you'll have to read off how many we have.
Okay. Well, I just refreshed, and I'm waiting for my computer to scroll up. If you would please scroll up and show me the poll. There we go. So I'm showing we have 17 votes. Oh, we got a couple more coming in. I see Derek chimed in too.
Okay.
So we have 17 votes this time, which is pretty good. We have 9 votes for a 5, so more than half, 53%. 7 votes for a 4, which is 41%. And it looks like our buddy Eric over at Boulder Hill voted for 3. So, which is we rate as okay for the episode. 5 being great, 4 being good. So, it seems most of the people were around our area of voting more towards the top of the scale.
Right.
And we also had 2 comments, beginning with our buddy Anna.
Right. She says, this is a really good and entertaining episode. I love the part when Buddy Hawks dresses up as Cliff Dagger and Venom discovers and chases him. It also has some great action scenes in the sewers and good excitement at the end with Scott and T-Bob nearly falling down from the Eiffel Tower. The only negative thing I can find is that Vanessa's clothes changes from one moment to another in the scene where they are constructing the map. One moment she is wearing a white coat, the next she is not, and then she is wearing it again. Good catch. I didn't even see her derobe and robe again. So
I didn't notice that either. That was another kind of little tick with the thing. Why is she wearing that white kind of lab coat? Isn't really any reason for it. Why isn't she just
maybe she was trying to pass off as one of the curators or something.
Could have been, but wasn't really any explanation for that.
No.
But and then our buddy Scott Crawford over at the M.A.S.K Comics blog, he left another lengthy comment. He says, this was another good episode, one of the 8 episodes that made it into novel format over here in the UK. Cool, because I do remember seeing some of those books, and I'm glad he chimed that in about that. I should really reread this novel while watching the cartoon to see if there are any differences. I believe that some of the novels have slightly more of a storyline. Not sure if perhaps the original scripts had more in them and then cut out to fit in the 20-minute length of cartoon. And I'm kind of on that because I have the one book it's called Mission Meteor, which is actually the Death Stone in storybook format. It's not really a novel.
Right.
It's a little small kind of read-along books that they had back in the 80s. Back to what Scott was saying. Anyway, the first thing that I didn't like about this cartoon was the French-inspired incidental music. Okay, they have to set the scene, but this is a kid's cartoon, and those segments of music, well, they weren't great. After seeing Sly Rax's eyes last week, we have him in this episode with his glasses off for most of it. I think it's great to see what he really looks like. I agree. I mean, the only other time that I remember seeing without his glasses is to catch this one like security camera shot. It might have been, I think it was the Mardi Gras mystery episode where they're finding that formula and they capture him stealing it or whatever. In the security camera footage, he doesn't have his sunglasses on. Scott says, bit of a mistake. Buddy goes into a public telephone that says on it, telephone. We're in the middle of Paris. This should really read telephone or whatever he's got with the hyphens, the little dots and stuff above the E's. Only a subtle difference, but it was noticeable. One of the best parts of this cartoon was getting to see Buddy utilize his master of disguise skills. He used them quite a lot in the UK comics, but I can't remember him using it much in the cartoons. One thing I was confused by, he dresses himself up as Cliff Dagger to infiltrate the Venom hideout, so why didn't he just go in the front door. Surely he had been caught making the entrance he did with climbing the walls and using the zip wire. Wouldn't the rest of the Venom crew find this strange? That's a very good point. Did not even think of that. You dress up like him, you should be able to walk in the front door.
Exactly.
Maybe he didn't have a key. I don't know. I did also notice one of the buildings moved slightly as he went down the zip wire, just a little animation glitch. However, if there's one thing that really annoyed me about this episode, it was the footstep sound effects. Thank you. Thank you. Especially when Buddy was running around dressed as Dagger and everybody chasing him. Was there really any need? Very off-putting. So I got one person at least agrees with me about the footstep effects. I was sick of them. Didn't take me long. And it was just the fact that everybody sounded like it. If Scott's walking and Dagger's walking or Buddy's walking, it should sound a little bit different. That's just me.
Right.
We did have a quick little comment, too, from Eric I wanted to mention over on the Hangout site here, the Hangout page. He says he didn't get a chance to post beforehand, but this was his big thought. If getting the trigger is so important, why, oh why, does Miles just send Dagger? It's not like Miles was busy. He's busy. He's playing cards, for crying out loud.
Very, very true.
That's, yeah. You're putting the most, how would I put it?
Inept.
Very good word. Inept person in charge of recovering this object from this map, and you're just sitting around playing cards or reading a book, waiting for him to get back with it. Didn't make sense. But a very good point from Eric, and I guess that's going to about do it for our comments. We did get one other question here, and I guess we'll go ahead and go into that real quick before we preview the next podcast, Wyatt. From our friend Vaughn Baskin, he asked us, can Saban Brands and Hasbro toys revamp M.A.S.K just like the Pupples and Power Rangers and Digimon? And all I can say is we're on board with any kind of revamping at this point. Yes. It's just the rights issue, I think, and who actually has the cartoon rights, the toy rights, comic book rights. I mean, it seems like it's spread out over several entities, and that's the main holdup of getting M.A.S.K back out there, I think. But if you're Hasbro, if you really want to, revamp this toy line, bring a cartoon back, I think you would have the funds and the motivation to go out there and make sure you have everything and get it done, essentially. Right. They're spending the time to secure their trademark, so why not just knock down the rest of the rights and make sure you're okay with moving forward? I think that's just the only hold up at this point. I mean, I swear this is March, okay? There must have been at least 20 announcements this year on cartoons and stuff coming back, being remade.
They could have easily made some kind of hint.
Yeah.
I mean, they hinted with Matt Tracker maybe possibly being in G.I. Joe, and that just stirred a big, huge buzz right there.
Right, but, I mean, just like what he's saying, Netflix is bringing back, or have brought back, and they've made announcements about the Pupples, Rainbow Bright, Inspector Gadget. We had just last week, Disney came out and said they're going to revamp DuckTales. It just seems like we're getting one every week, and
exactly,
it's just got to be something behind the scenes that we're not getting a new cartoon or announcement or something, especially with all these rumors going around. There has to be something going on behind the scenes, and they're just not ready to make the announcement yet. It's what I think. But we appreciate you watching and and sending us the question, Vaughn, and hope you will continue to join us. And again, we invite everybody else who's listening to this in podcast form to keep tuned to our Facebook page. We've tried to give you at least 24 hours notice when we're going to record. So you can join us and listen to all of our mistakes and how we actually put MASKast together and chat it up there at the beginning. That's always fun too, Wyatt. Just talking about whatever. And but we invite people to come along and just keep it tuned to the Facebook page. And we actually put out a newsletter the other day and put the link in there. So if you're not signed up for our M.A.S.K, Agents of M.A.S.K transmissions, just go to the website. There's a join button on the left side of the column, and it's basically just typing in your email, and we give you a little badge there that you can post on your blog or your website, letting everybody know that you're an official agent of M.A.S.K. And so feel free to use that little badge when you sign up for the email. And coming up on the next MASKast, if we don't get anything in the meantime, we'll be going on to another episode review, and we'll be covering episode 35 titled In Dutch, which features a madman hiring Venom to destroy the flood dikes in the Netherlands if their parliament does not allow him a political position. A little extortion by Venom. I think that's one of their specialties. We've had them do that before. I think that was the what's that episode where that one guy, I think it might have been in Thailand, hires them to is it Bad Vibrations?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Or one of those where they have those devices and they turn the buildings where he had been before into rubble. But yeah, Venom's been hired out a time or two. Well, it was just a couple episodes ago when they were in Switzerland, and the Baron. They were working with that Baron to extort a little bit from. Well, they weren't really extorting that time. They were trying to get the currency out of, destroy all the currency. But that was more revenge. But Venom knows it all. It seems like. Are you still there?
Sorry, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm making notes. Sorry.
That's all right. So yeah, it looks like Venom. We're going to get another dose of Venom's best in the next episode.
Yeah.
Or worst, yes. Very good.
Yeah, this has been fun. I was tied up. I was actually making a comment on our Google Hangouts, and I'll just give it a verbal shout out as well. I wanted to thank all the watchers that have been being a part of the live uncut version of us. Right now it's only, it looks like 4, not including you and I, that are part of it, but hopefully that grows. I know we have quite a small following with our podcast by itself, whether it's through iTunes or Mixcloud or Stitcher. The stats aren't accurate. They don't actually give us stats on iTunes, so we can't give you much on that. But we've got a fair following that listen to the podcast. And
faithful.
Yes, faithful. And myself and Jason included on that because we listened to it after the edits. And but yeah, we have a great time. This is a blast. We have fun. Sometimes we bring out the heavyweights over here. But anyway, until next time, I'm Wyatt, and for Jason, thanks for listening and watching MASKast.
Very nice, sir. And we thank, like Wyatt said, we thank everybody for watching, submitting the questions, leaving comments, and hope you will join us next time for our next hangout. And I think we're going to go ahead and end it.
That's right.
See y'all later.
Later.